None of it depends on your external. Everything depends on your internal. Whatever is going on in your mind, whatever is going on as your vibration. Nothing depends on the external. Guess what? Actually, the external doesn't even exist until you choose to create that line of thoughts through the memory, through the past. Only because of that, only because of observance, the external exists. So nothing outside this room actually really exists. But once I go out of the room, everything recreates out of memory. And where is it coming from? It's coming from the internal. Hey guys, welcome to the Awakened Reality, and you are with Krishwan. We'll start off with this. There is no reality until you observe reality. If your five senses are not there, you cannot observe anything. There is no reality because you haven't observed any reality. So there is nothing to compare it with. So it's just oneness. And when you start seeing and observing reality through your five senses, and maybe even your intuition, your sixth sense, when you start observing this reality, a reality exists. What I'm here telling you is everything that you've observed in your life, right from your birth, right from when you came out of your mom's womb onto earth, everything that you've been observing about earth, the universe, stars, your local city, your shop, local shops, everything that you've been observing has gone into a subconscious mind, has gone into your subconscious mind, and it is created like a connection, like, okay, this is what earth looks like. This creation of earth is done by you through observation. Remember, if you don't have any five senses, you cannot observe anything, and hence it doesn't even exist. That thing doesn't even exist. You can say it might exist, but you're just not observing it. But if you don't have observation of it, there is no record of it, then you don't even know it exists in the first place, right? So when you don't know it exists in the first place, it's just in your reality, there is no existence of it. I hope you guys got this part. So when you're opening your five senses and you're looking around, what you're doing is you're taking in data from all different places. Okay, the TV is placed there, the mirror is placed behind the camera. Everything you're taking in data, and when you're taking in this data, it's all connecting in your mind. And when you say, I'm observing this room, and when I come back into this room, I will remember exactly the way it is, the way it was actually. And so I'm recreating that as my new reality. So there is no reality, and we are constantly, millisecond to millisecond or nanosecond to nanosecond, we are creating this reality from our observance of our past, from the observance in the past, from our previous observance of it. We are constantly creating this reality from our previous observance of it. Okay, so when I go, so I can easily say that nothing actually exists behind me until I'm choosing to observe it, like the mirror is there. So I'm observing it, and then it immediately shows up as a reflection of what data I've taken in. Similarly, on this side, on that side, actually nothing exists now, but when I choose to look like this, oh, I see a wall, I see some switches, because this is coming from my memory, my human memory, that has taken in all this data and accumulated it all together, thus creating every second after second after second after second. So this point is going to be difficult to understand, but if you can get it, you get it. You are creating every second of your life, every nanosecond of your life, and you're creating these things just from a past memory of it. If you just came out of your mom's womb and you're observing all these things, you're observing from the DNA that has been holding this information from your parents, from your mother and father that gave you birth. And so this information of planet Earth and all these things you're holding, your body is being born out of it, and so you're recollecting this general information, and as you observe, as you create it as per that, you end up creating more and more and more of like, oh, how will this room be like, how will that room be like, how will that beach be like, how will this be like. So maybe you would have seen an article about the beach, so you have a general frame of reference, and the beach kind of shows up to that general frame of reference in your mind. So, or you might, it could be unknown, and when it could be unknown, it could be anything that you are allowing for it to create. But just by its name, just by its resonance, pretty much its vibration, you are knowing that, okay, this is what it is. And so its vibration is showing up as a physical form as your creation. All this that you're creating, all this that you're experiencing as your creation, it is only coming from your internal. You have to understand that. The source, the control box, the control room is here in the internal. So why this topic? Why to bring up this topic that everything is happening from the internal? Nothing is about the external. It's not. Nothing is about the external. It's all about the internal, because it truly is all about the internal. Whatever you have restored in your brain subconsciously, unknowingly, will also be showing up as a part of the reflection, just from the observance of it. And that is going to be showing up more and more, and it's going to be kind of trying to make it same. But if there are changes, there is going to be changes. If you're expecting changes, there are going to be changes. Because again, your expectation comes from the internal, and it comes out as a manifestation in the external. Now, coming to the word manifestation, this is exactly how manifestations work. Manifestations work based on what is happening in the internal. What is your observance of that particular thing or object in the internal? Even people, what is your observance of the people? What meaning have you given to that people from the internal? This is how we have different chemistries. I have a particular chemistry with my parents. You have a particular chemistry with somebody else, and or you could have a different chemistry with my parents compared to me. Somebody else could have a different chemistry with them compared to me, or so everybody has different chemistries with each other, because how they view that person is how that person is going to start appearing more and more and more and more. Again, the source control room is from the internal. I should probably put up a picture of control room. The control room, the start, the source is internal. So when people make you fear something, when people intimidate you, when people manipulate you, or when people are trying to push you in a direction that you're not going, you have to understand that your internal perception of them is creating them, number one, and what they're saying doesn't have to be your reality, because your reality starts from the internal. What people say around you doesn't have to be your reality, because what your reality is based on is based from the internal. The more you're focusing on things you want, the more you're going to be aligned in that direction, because it's coming from the internal, and from the internal, you're just putting yourself in the path of looking at what you expect to see. If it's going to be good, it's going to come good. If it's here, internally, if it's good, externally it's going to be good. Internally, if it's doubtful, externally it's going to be a doubtful situation. Internally, if it's bad, externally it's going to be bad situations. What you're choosing to focus upon, what your belief systems are, all these, or what your knowings about different things are, what you think your knowings about different things are, all these are very, very important, because of the plain fact that everything starts from the internal. So in using this, you can do something great. You can do actually great things, and you can also, how do you do these great things is you narrow your focus down to exactly what you want to see. And don't be thinking about things that you don't want to see. Literally, don't be thinking about things that you don't want to see. Don't put that in your mind. It's a waste of your time. Do you want to see, if it's going in the internal, it's going to come out in the external. So do you even want it to go into the internal? You understand all of it, I get it. You want to understand all of it, I get it. After understanding all of it, don't give it that much meaning. Detach the meaning from it. Oh, I feel so scared. No. Detach that meaning from it. You don't have to feel scared at all. The point is, if you actually feel scared, you will see experiences where people will make you feel more scared. Or if you wake up worrying about what's going to happen the next day, you're only going to be in that worried state of being, and that worried state of being is only going to show up as your external, because your internal is fully clogged with that worrying state of being. Just in order to maintain that vibration, you will see what you're visualizing in your mind, you will start seeing. And you have the choice, the free will to control it, whether you want to think about it and it comes, or whether you don't want to think about it and it doesn't appear. In fact, this is also a way as to how to get rid of people, which I see, I have done it, and I actually still do it, is to not give them your attention. Do not give them your attention, because as you're not giving them your attention, those things are just on the sidelines. They are not being observed. Since they are not being observed, you remember that point I told in the first? If you don't observe something, it doesn't exist. It doesn't be as a part of your reality. You don't get to judge it, or you don't get to see it, or you don't get to comment on, because it doesn't even exist. You're not even giving your attention to it. Since you're not giving your attention to it, you're not observing it. Since you're not observing it, it doesn't even exist. You don't even know if it's there or not in the first place, because you haven't even observed it with your five senses in the first place. So if you want to get rid of people, best way is to stop giving them energy, stop giving them attention. And that can be done from your control room, from your internal. This is also how you become rich. You achieve whatever you want to achieve in your career, in your relationships. You exactly have to manifest what you want to manifest. That's it. Focus on what feels good to you at the moment. Don't look at all the other things. Yes, there are a million distractions, million things. You can check it out if you like it. No harm in doing that. One of the main things we as Source here on planet Earth do is to explore ourselves and involve ourselves in new creations as well. And after that process, you choose what you want to see, and you focus on that, you get only more of that. And as you focus just on that, the other things fade away. Okay, so don't forget that. So that's about it, guys. If you like a session with me, I'm a Oneness energy-based life coach. If you like a session with me, you can go right here to flow.page/Krishwan or flow.page/The Awakened Reality. You can also DM me, hit me up on any of the DMs, social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and even WhatsApp, and hit me up and tell Chris, I've heard your videos, I would like a session with you, etc., etc. And we could go about from there as well. And there's going to be a few groups here, 2 groups here, a Facebook group and a WhatsApp group. If you be in this group itself, if you be in these groups itself, you'll feel grounded, because whatever I say, I put out as posts, a lot of posts, and I put out as like some videos on the weekdays as well. So as I put these out and as you listen to them, and I also put also other posts from other people are also there. So as you're in these groups, you get grounded and you get more grounded, and you just keep learning with that groundedness. You learn, ground, implement, learn, ground, implement, learn, ground, implement. Okay? So this is pretty long. I have to edit this. That's about it, guys. Bye.